truth.
No chaser.
Welcome back to Truth No Chaser. Of course, you know we are a shot of truth, stirred with bold opinions, reversing the miseducation of the black community as it relates to health and politics. You know, we spend a lot of time talking about mental health, as well as physical health, but a lot of times when the mental health information you need to know, facts you need to know about the black community. And one of the things that we found to be neglected is the mental health of the black man in the black community. So we have some brothers here, you know, Frankie, myself, and also joining us today.
We got Mr. Ethan Barnave.
And
Joseph Stone.
And we're just going to discuss some of the issues that we wanted to really tackle, things that we don't normally get to say, discuss in an open setting, things that other brothers may share, topics that probably hit us all individually, if not across the board, some more than others. Today we're going to be talking about, we're going to start off with a little icebreaker with sports and sticks to Frank, get everybody loosened up a little bit. Mm-hmm. But we're going to talk about the fatherhood angle of black man, depression and suicidal ideations, what's plaguing black men in America, and then just going to get into it and have like a free conversation. You know, really express ourselves on each topic, or just our general thoughts, or what may even be personal to us. So go ahead, kick us off, Frank.
So check this out, fellas. All right, so we're talking about mental health, right? The one thing that we always get a lot of flack for is just the masculinity, right? Just always trying to show how hard we are, macho, so on and so forth. So I got 3 questions, all right, to kind of, like I said, break the ice a little bit. The first question, everybody can answer this. The first question is, no matter how tough you think you may be, who's one dude that can smack your woman on the ass without you, and you would give him a pass because you like, you know what, he got it.
Tyson.
That's mine too. Mike Tyson. I'm like, you know what? Go ahead. I know that was an accident, sir. What about you, Ethan?
I ain't even gonna lie. Maybe
who's somebody you give it a pass to? Like
it's probably the young nigga in me. Still, I don't really have anybody on that list.
Yeah. I know how. I mean,
even if I know I'm going down swinging.
Or y'all with the stick.
I like that.
Shits. Young niggas is with the shits.
You ever seen Tyson fight?
Right.
Yeah, I'll probably get my ass knocked out, but I mean...
it might be the young nigga. We've seen it live. It's like,
right.
It's the principle of respect.
No, I get it. Right. I get it, though.
Yeah,
I get that. That's
because I'd rather get knocked out in front of her for taking up for her and show her that I'm going to protect her. Then, you know, you don't want to go out like that.
You don't want to go out like that?
You don't want to go out like that.
You don't think she will understand? You think she'll understand, like, babe, that's Mike Tyson, bro?
I mean, she might like it, but I still got to do my part, even if it costs me a couple black eyes.
I guess we may not go straight to blows. I might have to, have some words with him first, but
let him walk off first and then go sneak one in.
Probably like the locks. I might have to, I might have to, you know what I'm saying? I might have to jig Mike up a little bit. You know what I mean? All right, we got a second question here. Go. Now, no, this is the very opposite, all right? We always get a lot of flack for not showing our sensitive side. Mm-hmm. What is a scene from a movie or a television show that will always get you choked up, no matter how tough you try to show your tough side and shit like that? When you watch it, that should always get to you. You got to turn your head, act like you know the air's dry in the room and shit like that. Give me one scene from a movie or a show.
I mean, opposed to what I look like, I'm really super sensitive and I cry easy, right?
For real?
Yeah.
Okay.
But mostly, what it choked me up most is relationships between children and their fathers.
Mm.
Okay.
That's where I was at with it. Yeah.
So in that direction, mine is always Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the scene where with the dad.
How come you don't love me, man?
How come you don't love me no more? That honestly, that get me choked up every time.
Mm.
What about you? You might be too young for that.
Yeah, I don't really. Well, I mean, the Fast and Furious when the end part with Paul. No, Paul Walker was my guy.
Yeah, that was.
Oh no!
When they did the little split roles.
I thought you were gonna mention. Okay. No. I'll keep it 100 with you. You're absolutely right about that. Yeah, my wife can't stand the Fast and Furious series. So
why you hating, man?
Yeah, no, I ain't even gonna lie. When they did the little split and the Wiz Khalifa song started giving up, I'll keep it 100 with you. She was looking. It was a bunch of men in there in the theater that was just like,
just suck it up.
You know what I'm saying? So I yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. You got one, or it was the same as mine?
Yeah, it was the same as yours.
Well, I mean, if I don't watch a lot of TV. But the recent thing that I seen, man, I was in one of my monthly meetings. I don't know if y'all seen the Kirk Franklin documentary that he did.
I didn't.
No.
Man, bruh, that shit had me in tears, man.
For real?
Yeah, man.
Shit, maybe I'll watch that on my own.
You might want to check that out.
I'll watch it on my own.
You might want to check that out.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah, because, you get to see a side of him that most people don't get to see. We just see the entertainment part.
Right.
But when you see that documentary and see, man, it's just heart touching, bro.
Yeah,
you. And if you have any type of compassion for humanity in real life situations, it's gonna touch you.
Say that.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna cry on your shoulder or nothing, but you'll see the lump.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So,
We got you. Last question, fellas. Last question. What's your biggest fear?
Fear. I know fear is false evidence appearing real, but my biggest fear is not accomplishing my purpose for what I was created for, right? Out of either ignorance or lack of discipline or just sheer ignorance, but lacking, just coming to a place like Earth and not accomplishing anything that I feel that would do justice for not only the generations after me, but for humanity and all. That's my biggest fear. But other than that, and heights, riding roller coasters, but that's no fear to me. So I stay away from those things. Right. We got to understand it.
They made an agreement.
That's funny. What about you, Ethan?
Mine is along the same lines. I fear my purpose. I do. I'm not sure. I got a pretty good idea of what it is. Mm-hmm. And some of the things or some of the situations that my purpose may guide me to are a little uncomfortable for me. The biggest thing that I guess I would be fearful of is getting in my own way. Mm-hmm. And repeating cycles.
Okay.
Yeah, that's deep.
Mine are a lot along the same lines, like dying. So my biggest fear is dying before I prepare my children, before they're prepared, because it ties into yours. Because I feel like I know. I said a prayer before I had my children about the purpose of their lives in Christ and in the world, and I don't want to die before they're. My son's name is Jordan, which means descend down or flow from that prayer. And I want to make sure he's prepared before I go, because it's a mission that keeps going. And that he's going until Christ comes back and he prepare his children and their children. You know what I mean? Right. So I just want to do my part to make sure they're prepared to go impact the world the way they're supposed to. And then they're able to, do the same thing. So that's why I've been paying a lot of attention to my health more lately.
Right.
Because, trying not to get my own way health-wise. You know what I mean? Get up out of here before I'm supposed to.
Yeah. Mine, first off, like you said, you have the kooky ones, like your height. Mine are rats. You know what I'm saying? I can't stand rodents, period, but rats in particular. But
I don't do any animals.
Right, but
birds, boy.
Birds are weird.
But see, that goes back to. Go ahead.
Yeah, so if I just getting the rats out of the way, just alongside with the realism of it, kind of sort of like Jay's. is my biggest fear is being undervalued by my daughter. So yeah, that's a fear of mine. And I definitely feel you with, like, you just living in your purpose, just wanting to be here, make sure you're here to be able to see them off, like well off. You understand what I'm saying? Before you check out. But yeah, just there's a lot of people who don't have a connection with their parents, their fathers. So, I mean, they don't respect them as a man, they don't respect them as a king, they don't respect them as a leader, so on and so forth. So I just never want to be in that position where, my daughter would ever say, look at me like just another guy. You know what I'm saying? That's what Stephen Smith said, a jag, just a guy. You know what I'm saying? I don't ever want to be looked at as that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that is definitely my biggest fear. But those are the icebreakers, fellas. I know that one was a little heavy, but that's what this whole conversation is gonna be about. All right, that's what we kind of prepared you guys, because we wanted to let you know that these topics are open discuss forum. All right, and that we just really encouraging you to speak freely and candidly. We don't know each other all that well, and this is my first time even meeting you. Right. So this is almost as if we're in a barbershop, two brothers that connected, and we're titling this, get it off your chest, King. All right, get it off your chest, King.
Go off, King.
Go off, King. Sorry, no, that's what it was. Yeah, go off, King. Sorry, I'm sorry about that. So, all right, this is not to tear any black man down, but just to be transparent with us and educate those listeners that may be able to feel us on it. So, we had a good segue. We talked about fatherhood. That's the first topic up. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, so when we talk about, I kind of want to open it up and just talk freely about whatever comes to your mind as far as fatherhood. Whether it's, your father's situation, whether it's like being a father, whether it's being in preparation, be a father. What's the biggest thing that comes to you about fatherhood?
Definitely like setting the example, and provision, more so to speak. So
yeah,
when I not even necessarily provision. What I mean when I say provision is more so stability. I feel like there's a certain level of consistency that comes with manhood, and being a father, I think, is most important to exemplify that. So I think that's.
How do you feel? What do you feel about the absence? Something that really is known in our neighborhoods, in African American neighborhoods, as far as black households. We're trying to change the tide. We are, but absenteeism. You know what I'm saying? Like that. How do you? Because you're not a father, correct?
No, don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
But are you aspiring to be a dad one day?
At this point in my life, it's not on my radar. I definitely I got a great Uncle E, big time. I could see myself having a child, but at once again, those factors about fatherhood, I don't think I've established them well enough within myself to be able to say I'm gonna have a kid right now, and or even really be thinking about it.
I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. That's so mature of you, because there's a lot of young brothers that completely skip that step.
Right.
They don't think about that aspect at all. Am I truly ready? You understand what I'm saying? Like, fatherhood is no joke. So, I could have been in a position to be a 17 and 18-year-old dad, because, obviously that's that age where you really think you got it all figured out.
Right.
But for a young brother to see, like, you know what, I'm on me time right now. You understand what I'm saying? And I know to be able to bring another life into this world and provide for them is just a taller task than you need to. Is that what you're saying? Like,
that is what I'm saying, and like that it's kind of going back to when I said I know my purpose. I feel like I definitely have a unique perspective in comparison to my peers, and I feel like even now I always find myself the youngest person in the room, and it is something in that bridging the gap.
Okay.
I think
That's a good thing.
yeah. But that's going back to that fear stuff. That's scary as hell. It's like, dang, I gotta.
Yeah, it is scary, man, to be responsible for a whole nother human being. What's up? What about you? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Man,
like fatherhood, man. Like,
I had my first child when I was 22.
okay.
So really, you know, at that age, man, I ain't know my ass from my mouth because shit came out of both of them. Right? But I knew I was going to do my best to give my children what I perceived to be a father. You know, I had a man that raised me, but he wasn't my biological father. He taught me how to survive.
Well, shout out to the stepdads. That's what's up. Yeah, I love it.
He taught me how to survive. So I think it's the foundation and the vision. That's ultimately what the father is.
Yeah.
You know, however, like in our communities, there's not a lot of foundations from the father, so that lacks the vision from the father, which the father ultimately covers the community, right? So if the covering has no vision or no foundation, it's kind of going to be stagnant until he get revelation to say, hey, I keep walking around the same mountain and persevere and move forward, you know, and educate himself and get around other men that he can build and grow with and be a father per se, right? Because really the definition of fatherhood, in my opinion, changed based on your experience and what you perceive to be a father role model, right? So you might have a guy that say, well, my dad, man, all he did was provide, but he was never home. I wish I had a daddy that was home. I would have give up all the stuff he bought me to spend time.
Because that money is not a replacement.
Right. Then you might have a child that say, well, man, my daddy couldn't buy us shit. But he was at all the games.
Right.
He was at all the games.
Yeah.
So I think that boils down to individualism.
Yeah.
You know, in the sense of what fatherhood ultimately is.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, it's a foundation and vision. You know, that's the basis.
Right.
You know, from my point of view.
Jay, you got a son and a daughter. Fortunate to have a son and a daughter. Well, like, what's the differences? I know. I could just about imagine. I know.
So when my son was born, I was scared as hell.
Okay.
Super scared. It was so I did know, like, my wife was who I was going to have children with. That particular occurrence wasn't planned.
Right.
And I was kind of like Ethan said, it was like, yo, I'm not sure that I got everything it takes. It's here now. And I had a friend tell me, lady friend tell me one time, she was like, you know, women are born with motherly instincts. Fathers, when they hear it, kicks in. You know, that vision you said, and you said something earlier, like that provision, like like going before and providing, you know what I mean? So my son is 12 down, big dude, walking around the house, and he calls me dad. So he's like, Dad, and sometimes still, I'm like me? I'm still like, yo, I'm this dude's father. Because
once they get a certain age, they stop calling you daddy, especially the boys.
Right.
Yeah, they realize, nah, I ain't calling them.
No, the fact that I'm responsible for these people is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's kind of the go to the question, the difference between the sons and the daughter. I would, only way I know how to answer is personal to my son and my daughter. I feel like for my son, I have to do a little bit more preparing for me because so, you know, there's provision and all that. When God gives us children, we're stewards over their life. Like, that's a soul that belongs to God, and we're a steward over it, right? So it's only right for me to be. That's one of the things that draw me back to a prayer life, because you know I don't pray like that. I'm not a prayer warrior. And that's not a good thing, but I'm saying that shit's real. But that's one thing that draws it back, like, yo, I got to stay in tune for them because I'm supposed to be a steward over their life, which means I got to be somewhat in tune in some level to whatever God's purpose is, right? So I know my son's purpose is a little bit more intricate than my daughter's. My daughter's name is Charlie, which means free woman. And so my son, it's a lot more, especially with him being a black man, it's a lot more direction. This is how you do this, son. This is how you talk. This is how you meet a man. This is how, even right there, making him comfortable. This is how you go request your haircut. Like, this is what you go tell the man. Now go pay him. You know what I mean? Function. My daughter's more like, I call it bumper bowling. I just keep her out of the gutter. Scroll down the way. Just keep her out of the gutter. Because she truly is a free spirit. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's still, but being in tune with her spirit, God is like, yo, she's like, no, she's got a lot of free spirit. Your job is to keep her from going too far left or right. So just providing those boundaries and those foundations and just kind of letting her just work and just work within that and trusting God. Because, like, dude, like, you know, being a father of a daughter is nerve-wracking.
Definitely.
So it just take a lot. I mean, other than not to go crazy with stress, put my blood pressure way over. It's a lot of trusting.
Why is it more nerve-wracking?
You know, it's so funny.
Why is it more nerve-wracking?
There's a comedian. I mean, I don't know if this is what Jay feels, but there's a comedian. I forget who said it. I think it might be Chris Rock, but he said, you know, raising a boy, you just gotta deal with his one dick. raising a girl, you gotta deal with. You got hundreds. It's all for that. But and that's obviously from a comedic standpoint, but there's a message behind that. Just like, you know, you said, keep off the streets, keep off the pole.
Yeah, I'm saying you got to keep off the. What it said, it was in the show. It said, say you got two jobs: keep the boys out of dresses, keep the girls off the pole. That's just what it said. You can't say that nowadays.
Just for the record, no sidebar. You had said two things. Fear. What's the acronym for fear? You said
false evidence appearing real.
False evidence appearing real, and you said when you was 22, you ain't know your mouth from your ass and shit coming out of both of them. Just so you know, truth no chaser, we still phrases, everything. I know you probably ain't come up with that.
So that's called plagiarism.
Not if it's written. Not written.
Ethan, when I said "Go Off King" as a title, you had like a little reaction. What was you thinking, real quick? There's like, I don't know if you. Do you remember? I said "Go Off King" and you was like,
I do too much with my face. I've been told I gotta watch that. So.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, it do what it want to do.
I do want to answer his question though. We said, why is it more nerve-wracking to father a girl? So because women are receivers.
Oh
man. Men, you know, and I kind of talked about this a little bit before.
Yeah.
On a different show, but in the dynamic, the man is more the sower. The woman is a garden. So when a woman's a garden, or a girl's starting to grow into a woman, she's a garden. The word husband, not to say that I'm her husband or whatever, but the word husband means husband, like husband bush, a hedge band around the garden to protect things from in and out. All throughout the Bible, a woman is likened to a garden, right? So it's like playing defense all the time. It's like playing defense all the time until she knows how to protect her own garden. Because what happens is that's what the whole thing is about giving your daughter away.
Okay.
The whole thing is now the husband becomes her protector.
Exactly.
Right? And while you're protecting her, you're not just blindly protecting her, but you're teaching her constantly how to protect the garden. And we often think about that as when it comes to other men and dudes, this, that, and third, but it's everything. It's everything that might drive her one way or the other spiritually. You know what I mean? Because women are receivers. Now, the son, it's a little bit different because the boy goes and puts whatever, you understand what I'm saying? So you think about a son, men are naturally, what's the word, depositors, right? That's why I said this before, that's why sexual organs, boys got an outie, women have an innie. That's the physical manifestation of how the spirit is built. You know what I mean? So, like, if I see, all I got to do is make sure my boy's on the right path. That's why I say it's a little bit more intricate. Find your path. Let's find your path and your purpose together. Constantly talk about it, pray about it, right? And now as a father, I go and find provision, meaning I prepare you for that path. I give you all, not want to die for my purpose. Prepare my children. I give you all that you need, and no matter how dangerous that path is, if I know that's your path and I know you got your tools, you're going to survive it.
I think, and not to cut you off, I think I guess where the question comes from is more so, why is it more challenging versus you said it was different, and I understand that. That makes 100%. But like, I guess more so, I don't have kids. So
yeah, you good?
So I mean, if I can get my input on that, it's because once you become a man and you go through things in life, it's just a difference between the two. Because like he said, it's more of a protective state, right? And even in the spiritual sense, right? When she wasn't tempted by the serpent until she wasn't around her covering.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So if she's walking to school with her brother every day, little Ray from up the block caught up by herself walking to school. Now he trying to pull her in the alley to do what he do. Right. But he definitely wouldn't try that shit if Junior was with her.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right? That's very, 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 that was very key, because that's actually the beginning of my understanding of everything that I just said, because that's where I learned that. If you look at it, the serpent waited till Eve, intentionally waited till Eve was, because he knew he couldn't get through with Adam, because Adam's covenant was directly with God. Yeah. So he was like, I'm going to catch her by herself. Yeah. And all I had to do was speak to her.
Because that's what gravitates them. So that's why if you a smooth talker, that's why pimps have a lot of women. It's
communication.
That's it.
I feel like this is kind of, and it's kind of like, it kind of jumps down to one of the other topics, like on the problem with black men. Yeah. I feel like we kind of get caught up in that protector aspect of it. Like it is a very real aspect of being a man. It's a very real aspect of being a father, but there are other aspects of it as well. And I think we just put so much emphasis on that a lot of times we miss the opportunities to grow in those other aspects.
Well, to piggyback off of what he was saying, is because of experience.
100%.
You understand what I'm saying? It's because of what we know, how evil we know this world could be.
Right. So
you understand what I'm saying? So we have no. Did you grow up with your dad? Just ask.
I grew up with
a
stepdad. Yeah.
Okay, you did say that. What about you, Ethan?
Oh yeah, I grew up with my dad. My parents were split, but
very involved.
Very involved.
Like that. You know, fortunately I didn't. You know what I'm saying? And you know, honestly, I was raised an only child, so my mom was my protector, and a lot of things I didn't get a chance to do. You know, I don't care who playing around the corner. You got to be where I can see you.
We're similar in that. So so my dad, when my folks split, my mom had sole custody. They had sorry, mom and dad, putting y'all business out there. But they had a real messy divorce. Okay. Really messy divorce. To this day, I don't understand how those two people got together. But yet they did. Had me, great, cool. I grew up with my mom. Lived in the house with my mom, my auntie, all females. Mm-hmm. Same thing. How you said, you can play to the end of the driveway and back. Yeah. That's about all you got. Luckily, we had a pretty long driveway, so I was cool. But I didn't really get to experience my father intimately until I was about 17. Okay. Until I was about 16, 17. Late. Yeah. Like I knew who my dad was, loved my dad. Right. Showed up at every function that he could. But it's a lot that's missed as a young man. When you had talked about absenteeism a while ago, I never got to address that. It's a lot that's missed as a young man, or a lot of questions that are not addressed when there is not a direct source in the home.
And I'm gonna tell you, without even knowing your dad personally, right? If something were to have happened to you off his watch, he wouldn't know how to deal with himself. You understand what I'm saying? Right. And that is where we come from with the protector aspect of it. We almost, you know, we have going to the plaguing the black man in America. We have that horrible stigma of not being involved enough, to where when you get a real one, You understand what I'm saying? Like we become overly protective is what you're saying.
I feel like it's all at this point we have to like dismantle the cycle, bro. Because it's like
the cycle of what? So I know what.
So okay, you talked about
of being overprotective.
Yeah.
Okay.
Overprotect and leading to other things. So in the sense of, dang, there go my train of thought, just like that.
It's all good.
It's gonna come back in the middle.
No, that's all good. It's all
I
good.
mean,
No,
just to pick up the overprotection. I think that's something that comes from birth. It's something like
natural.
it's natural because even in the sense of like when I know when I was little and we go to the skating ring, even when I was still a virgin and really didn't have no recollect on what relationships was with a female, it was always we're gonna see who can get the most numbers when we here tonight. And the girls, their catch was we're gonna find the prize in here. They don't need a bunch. They need the prize. We need a bunch. And it goes back to not even knowing as kids, we all walk into the skating ring and we making bets. Who gonna get the most numbers? And ain't none of us had no pussy before.
Right.
I feel like I definitely agree with you. Like it's there from birth, but at a certain point, that naturalness is nurtured into something that's toxic and it doesn't work anymore.
That's an animal kingdom. I'm gonna bring it. I think there is some reconciliation for what he's saying a little bit, but I'm gonna flip it just a little bit. It can turn into overprotectiveness. Yeah. But protectiveness, period, isn't necessarily overprotectiveness. But I'm going to use a different word that I keep using earlier because it's a bigger part of fatherhood to me, with still that same prefix of provision, provider, So, and what that means is to go before, right? To go before, to see ahead and see what's needed, right? So that includes some of those other things, right? So if I go, so it's not just about it comes out in protection, but it's also more like my stepfather, for example. My stepfather, I had a relationship with my real father, but my stepfather was dad too,
right?
And he was dad in the house, and he was full-fledged dad,
right.
And he was very domesticated, very. Both of my fathers were very domesticated, but my stepfather was very domesticated, even more so than my mother. When he came into the role, he immediately came into the role as my stepfather, like day one, right? And he became the take me to the doctor, never having a child before of his own. Take me to the doctor, make sure I'm fed, make sure I learn this, needs help with his homework. So what happens is, not just in the form of protecting for guy or girl, father, but you go forward as a part of that protective spirit. Is like, I can't see my kid lacking in that area. So I see what's down the road. So now I have to be that. Now, for me as a father, my wife is a great mother. So a lot of those other things that I could grow into, I don't have to.
I'm so glad you say that. Why you say that? Why you feel like you don't have to? Why you feel like you go ahead? Why you feel like you don't have to?
Because it's like cooking a meal. If I'm in charge of the steak and she got the sides, I'm not gonna cook the sides because now we got all sides.
I know you're not cooking at all, but that means you don't need to know how to make the sides. Like you know what I'm saying? Like every time you.
Oh, but that's a part of being the father. If there's a day that comes up where the sides ain't available, we making sides today. That's what happens. There comes a time where she needs me to be where her mother can't, or is absent to be, or whatever. That's what instinctively happens. Oh, I'm looking before my child.
But by what you just said, that's not instinctively looking before. You're responding to what's happening right then. But
that's the nature of a father. Like I said earlier, like my friend told me, and she was a woman study major, and she was a woman study doctorate actually. And she said to me, that's what she said. Women are born with that instinct.
Right.
Men develop it by what's before us.
Exactly.
So once we see what's before, and that goes into our nature perspective, right? That's what goes in for. That's what goes into us being that husband what protects that garden. So we know. So protecting the garden isn't constantly playing defense about what's right before us. It's like Frank said, having that life experience and going forward and say, okay, this is what's out there. So your fence around your garden need to be yay high, yay thick, yay wide, yay long. It needs to have barbed. Based on what we know is out there, we know what kind of wall to build.
And I feel like that basis is based in a lot of trauma. That's why I'm going back to that breaking the cycle stuff. So we're basing our measurements off of traumatic experiences that we have not.
I don't think there's much wrong with that, with being prepared for what's to come because of what we went through. You understand what I'm saying? If it is traumatic, and I'm happy you use that word, because we're gonna move with, like, I know we could talk about this all night. So speaking of traumatic, right, which leads to a lot of things, and depression being one of the major ones, right? Like, is there anything from your childhood that, or being the man you are today, or from fatherhood, whatever, that has ever put you in a state of depression? It's not something that black men like to talk about. Black men not big on therapy. They're starting to come around to it. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
But this is therapeutic in itself, right?
That's why we're doing it.
And this is why we're doing it. So if there when he speaks about trauma, there may be men that are the way they are towards their children because
of trauma.
There are a lot of men like that. It doesn't. So I would say.
So I don't know if you need to break the cycle
to capitulate the two. Mm-hmm. In most normal cases, that protect the spirit is not based on trauma. It's based on.
I disagree. I ain't gonna lie, I disagree on that.
But I'm gonna just give you a different perspective.
Okay, for sure.
I'm gonna just give you like a real world perspective, right? My daughter's gonna be in the Clark Atlanta homecoming parade.
Okay.
On Saturday.
Congratulations to that.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna make sure she's got a jacket on because it's gonna be kind of breezy in the morning.
Right.
She's never had pneumonia. I've never had pneumonia or any kind of, bronchitis or anything like that. I don't have to, nor does she has to have experienced that to know the wise thing is for her to be outfitted with a jacket based on what I know could affect her. 99 in normal situations, that the protectiveness that grows in you as a father is not based on. Now, there are a lot of men that do a lot of things based on what you're saying, so I'm validating what you're saying. But what I'm saying, protectiveness in its natural sense is simply based on wisdom. It's simply saying, when you go to Jamaica, take suntan lotion,
right,
so you don't get sunburn.
Right.
I've never had sunburn, so it's not based on experience, based on traumatic experience. It's just based on you might get sunburn, and that's where it comes in.
But my comprehension from what he initially said, I think is that, when my son, even my oldest son, I was cutting his hair this earlier, and he had some stuff in his ear. So he 18, I'm picking in his ear like he a little boy. Mm-hmm. So that's that nurturing.
Can't turn it off.
That's nurturing,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. But if he lacked that from me, it would come from a woman. So she's displaying masculine, alpha, and the nurturing, which is feminine, right? Mm-hmm. So if I'm not in his life, he's going to get that only from a woman, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. So he's only going to see it one way.
Right.
But when his dad cut his hair, like I've been cutting his hair all his life, he know that to be his dad taking care of him, and that's nurturing, right?
Mm-hmm. Your dad, your first favorite teacher.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? In school, was there ever a teacher that stuck out to you that you can remember in all your years of school? That the one that connected with you, and he connected with you because you was like you recognized him as that's a real man right there.
I ain't have
none of those.
I ain't have no male teachers really.
Damn, Atlanta crazy.
Yeah.
and that's what it is, because we're humans. We're like water.
Yeah.
Water and wind. Mm-hmm. You can give water a grain of salt space in a wall, and it will penetrate its way through there and make that grain of salt big as a quarter.
Take as one.
And that's how we are. So if you're in your situation, based on what you said, mama, aunties, there's a lot of traits that you're going to take on that come from a feminine standpoint. So if you see mom when she's upset, angry, she popping and hands on her hips, when you do these same physical things, that's not to question your sexuality. That's to question what you seen coming up when you get angry in that state. Now, if you see your dad when he's angry, he might punch a wall or however he operate. That's what you're going to perceive to be how to operate when you get angry. Right?
I think one of the things that like I hate about like the world nowadays, especially like these relationship podcasts and stuff like that, is they pit women against each other as if woman wasn't born from man. So everything that's in a woman is in us too, right? It just they play out differently. And one of the things like my son, my son doesn't talk to me about his social life and girls. In school, he's a 7th grade in middle school. This is the time I want to be in the mix.
Right.
I'm like,
because you know what time it is. Because you was in 7th grade.
He's sheepish. He don't think I know, which is why he don't think I know nothing about getting chicks. Like he was trying to talk to one girl. My wife was like, "Why don't you talk to your dad?" She was like, "He goes, you think he know how to get girls?" I'm like, "Yeah, like what's going on?" But like, but he talks to his mom about everything, all of that. Now, I'm like, I want that to be me too. So I keep the door open. I keep the relationship open. Now, let's say mom goes away. Mom's a bad mom. Something happens where that void is there. And now he's not talking to me and he's not talking about mom, talking to the mom. The protector in me says, I know the dangers of him not having a proper outlet at home. So now the protector in me says, I got to protect him from those dangers. So now I have to be whatever it is that my wife was or could be to open that up. And that's what opens up that nurturing stuff.
So can I challenge your perspective on that? Why not then be prepared, take the opportunity now to learn from your wife, to learn from the source how to provide those things to the child?
That's the thing. Yeah, so I'm learning it now, but his preference is just his mom.
So you said you learning it now, but before it was like, well, if she making side, why would I have to do that if she's doing that? That was kind of...
Well, it's more like it's based on relationship. So right now, he knows that if he had to turn to me, he could, but his preference is his mom in that area. But that doesn't... If there was a void, and even if his preference still wasn't immediately me, I would do what I had to take to nurture that relationship so that I could fill that void. You understand? Because I can't force him to talk to me. I can only provide the basis. You understand what I'm saying?
No, I get where you're coming from.
So that protector in me would make sure the nurturing part of me in that particular area grows. You feel me?
But it goes back to what you said initially. We deposit. So when we deposit this seed into this woman, now she's pregnant, you off. She's stuck with this seed every day. So the way she nurture and the way you nurture is going to be two different things because you dropped off. She receives. She has to hold, sustain, and multiply.
But so if a man and a woman come together to make a child, they're both involved in the upbringing of that child.
Yes, but the nurturing looks different from
it's
different.
It's a role thing
because her nurturing is going to look different because she was deposited into. She has to hold on, maintain, and develop. She's going to be daddy's maybe, mama's baby. You know what I'm saying? She's going to have this baby all the time. From the time the seed is deposited into the time it goes on its way. Right? When dad, he's deposited. He done caught one. He done turned over and went to sleep. Guess what? It's a baby growing in this woman. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So the nurturing is going to be different. It's going to look different. From
before they even existed on Earth.
Exactly. So, but however, when it comes into the physical and this boy is only getting this feminine nurturing. The masculine nurturing is when it comes to him is going to be foreign. Because when mom and aunties and them get mad and when they're happy, they're acting a certain way. When dad get happy or dad sad, you might see him cry, but you ain't gonna just see him boo-hoo like mama.
Yeah. And it's a relationship thing. Because my son comes to me, first thing he does and wakes up, when he comes in from school, before he goes to bed, and randomly about 3-4 times a day, hugging the kiss on the cheek from dad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a tight hug.
But why it gotta be boohoo like mama though? Like it can't be boohoo like daddy. You get what I'm saying?
That's just the narrative I painted.
Yeah, that's what he was just saying. Like it can be boohoo like daddy too. I'm saying it's just saying that even if it's boohoo like even if boohoo with daddy and boohoo with mama, it's still going to look different.
It's going to look different.
Okay, I think this is what I'm getting at. Given that there are all of these, we're in 2023, all of these people that have been brought up and nurtured with all of this different perspective, all of these different, what's the solution to that? How are we then supposed to unite black men on a whole spectrum then? How are we supposed to do that? We can go back and we can trace and we can present all the perspectives for sure, but how do we then bring about cohesion?
That's a big one right there.
Love, truth, peace, justice, and honor.
I think you got to add another one to that. It's perspective. You really got to, that perspective, man, that's the thing that's going to change it all. I see it all the time. I feel like the problem with black people in general, not even black people in general, our unwillingness to shift our perspective. When we're presented with something that challenges our perspective, we automatically do this to it as opposed to
like a block. Like just
maybe they could be just because that's what you know.
So be open to other ways to not interject, but what's the word I'm trying to use? It'd be other ways to interact with your child and be in your child's life. I get it.
I kind of jumped a little bit over child. I kind of jumped out of child
in general. Yeah. So, but no, I think that's big for me. I agree with you on perspective, because that's kind of like the premise of Truth No Chaser.
Yeah.
There's a lot of well, this is true because it's the way I see it, and that's true because the way this is this, and at some point there's a factual basis that that needs to be a truth compass, and that challenges people's perspectives. So, but what I found is the biggest thing about Jesus wasn't that he was the greatest preacher and this, that, and third, blah blah blah. It all comes down to relationship. I am more likely to take, let's say I'm talking about your perspective in particular, right? I'm more likely, or me or anybody is more likely to be more open to your perspective, usually when there's a relationship there, right?
Right.
Because now there's value to your perspective. And it doesn't even matter what that relationship is. It could be teacher-student. It could be barber-client. It could be classmates. But what we don't do is we don't connect.
I don't think we put enough emphasis on the relationship that is human to human. The simple fact that we're all on this earth, we have a relationship to one another.
I agree with that. However, there's different animals in the jungle, and not comparing to the greatest species God ever created, human beings to animals. There's different animals in the jungle, but they coincide. They know their perspective. They know what they're supposed to do. The only difference is we have a choice. A dog will lick his ass every day of the week and would not be put in a straitjacket. You lick your ass and see what happens.
That's a visual for y'all.
Right? I wasn't a fan for that one. I got you. Yeah.
I got it. I understand. Hold on. But hold on. Before you go on. Because we have to jump into these other topics. We do. All right. And we had started at the trauma. All right. Traumatic experiences. And we were going to start talking about depression, right? Let's speak on that. All right. Depression. I give you an example. I opened up with that one. 2016. Lost my first child.
Something in the water in 2016.
2016. What happened?
Something in the water in 2016.
2016 was it, right? Lost my first child. Would have been my baby boy Hollis would have been 7 years old this year, right? Probably definitely the most depressing stage of my life, and led to just a ton of you have to be that natural sense of protector, provider, and stuff like that. But when you get a minute to yourself and you start getting into your thoughts, you become the one starting to break down, and you really don't have, I didn't have too many people could empathize with me. You understand what I'm saying? Something that have never happened to me before. So, I didn't quite know how to deal with that outside of actually finally getting around to therapy. And this is exactly what we want to talk to y'all about. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I just wanted to know if there was any traumatic experiences that if you could open up, if you don't mind, you know what I'm saying, that you've experienced that may have put you in a state of depression, or how'd you deal with it?
I've been through a lot of traumatic experiences in my life. Like, me personally, I call it like street PTSD, and not from from the wars and stuff like that. Yeah. It's almost it's pretty much like PTSD from like seeing drive-bys early on in my childhood, seeing people die, just even on my way to school, and then seeing it being played out in movies, that creates a sense of PTSD. But the latest thing that I would say that would be PTSD related is my father killing my brother. Wow. Right. And this just happened about a year or so ago, 2 years. Oh, gosh. So I never talked to a therapist about it. And, I make sure I get counseling. I'm involved in different men groups. But yeah, that, man, it makes me question, because even biblically, David's son tried to kill him, bro. Absolutely. Right? So I think, like, the words say he can curse up to 4 generations. That's based on the actions of the father, not based on his intentions as God. Because his intentions are pure. You see what I'm saying? But it's based on the actions of the father. So based on the actions of my father, it caused a toxic relationship with his son that ultimately hit a head, right? Because of the lack of communication or understanding or whatever that went into play with that situation. But that's the most recent thing that was there a lot of like malice or ill will towards the two of them, like growing up and stuff like that? Or actually, this is my biological father. Right. I didn't have a relationship with him like that. It was on and off. But I had a relationship with my little brother. May they both rest in peace. So your brother, I'm sorry, your brother passed away as well? Your dad shot your brother, you said? He actually, I think it was an accident, because they both were alcoholics. And my brother, he would take prescription pills and mix it with the alcohol. So we know that alters your emotions. Absolutely. And if you don't know how to deal with emotions, naturally as men, we get aggressive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Say that one more time, man. Say that loud.
So if we're both arguing as men, it's only so long before one of us is going to swing on each other. Yeah. Right? So they had a history once. They had a situation where my brother hit my dad in the face with his fist and put him in a hospital and just like fucked him up. Yeah. So this particular day that the incident happened, that caused my brother a timely demise. It was a family gathering. I wasn't present. This is just based on hearsay, what was told to me. They was drinking, doing what they do, and they got to arguing for whatever reason. So my brother started to walk towards the house based on something my father said to him. So this is where the PTSD kicked in with my father, because I was taught, I brought you in this world, I take you out. I'll be damned if you put your hands on me and disrespect me. Yeah. You did it once, and I ain't kill you, boy. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So now this situation presents itself again. My father's in the house eating watermelon. So he's, based on the story, he's at the screen door eating a watermelon, and my brother approached him, and my father had the knife in his hand from the watermelon. Okay. Right? So I think as my brother, for whatever reason, went in, or what the case may be, the knife he put the knife out. Not in the sense to kill his son, but to, man, back up. And that's all it took was one shot, one kill. And he sat there and bled in the front yard. So you said you never seeked
any clinical help from that, like any therapy from that, but just counseling from peers and stuff like that.
I really never discussed it, and actually, me and Janita, we was actually talking about it last night. I showed the pictures, and I kind of got choked up looking at the pictures because I lost my brother, then my father died, and then after that, my granddaddy died.
Yeah.
These three generations within 60 days.
Yeah.
Within 60 days.
So why haven't you sought therapy?
On this particular narrative, and I don't know. I guess I'm still numb and still trying to figure out is it real?
Yeah.
But I know it's real because I have the pictures of all three of them dead in my phone.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think I done become so numb to certain things that it's water under the bridge, but it's the same toxic water that if I fall out of this boat,
oh gosh,
what the fuck is gonna happen?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's one of them things that we just leave in the water, and I'm gonna do my best to hang on this boat.
What keeps you in the boat?
What keeps me in the boat? My kids, pouring into other people.
Okay.
Stuff like that. You know, praying, talking to God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, trying to seek answers.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to keep my mind and my body and my soul as pure as possible so I can hear these answers.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we're filling ourselves with toxins, whether it's verbally, mentally, or whatever the case may be, it'd be hard for us to hear and get those answers. It'll come, but sometimes, you know, for light to penetrate through the darkness, it has to have an opening.
Mm-hmm. Take a page out of Ethan's book, you know, talking, speaking on perspective. I'm not going to sit here and say it's the end all be all. Like, nah, you got to seek therapy in order to get over this. So, you know, it might have to come at your time.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? It definitely, if I'm speaking personally though, I feel like it definitely would help. You know, I wasn't the biggest advocate for it until I actually had to sit down with somebody that's licensed. It's going to come from a very non-biased, you know, angle, you know, and just, you know, so it's a complete stranger who's not going to be a yes man and just nod their head in agreement with you, with everything that you're saying and stuff like that. And one thing that I was told is a very natural feeling and emotion was the suicidal ideations that came along with it. I don't know if you experienced those. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't. I'm too afraid to kill myself, bro.
Yeah, me too.
I can't. I remember one time. I'm gonna get this shit funny, but it's not funny. My mom was at work, man, and for some dumbass reason, me and my brother was at home by ourselves. So today I decided to go in the attic, right? Yeah. So as I'm walking in the attic, I'm walking on the 2x4s. So I'm like, well, shit, I can step off the 2x4. But me being immature and naive, not knowing this is drywall.
Right
through that shit.
Straight through that shit. Oh, man. I'm like, it's over with. She finna kill me when she come up. I'm finna take myself out. But that was only... There was only a deflection.
Right.
So that ass whooping would be so bad, maybe.
Maybe if she seen me home kind of choked that shit.
But if she see me home dead, I'll be... kill myself. I couldn't be.
Man, my mama, if she heard this, she know this the God's honest truth. But nah, bro, I ain't never thought about doing no shit. Like, I'm too afraid, man. I ain't.
God bless you, because everybody not the same. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's people that's their first thought.
You got anything to add on that?
I understand. I went through a lot of more, I guess, internal trauma than I did external. I from a very young age, and I actually did seek therapy about this. I'm trying to get back into it, but I was able to identify my parents as like human beings and other adults as human beings, as opposed to like, that's my superhero mom or that's my superhero dad, and began to kind of on a subconscious level take on more adult roles than I was prepared for, and thus finding myself in situations that I was too immature to handle, but did not know how to get out of. In like around 2016, that was when I graduated high school, and I like to say me and my mom, we had creative differences at that time. We was like this all the way until I got to high school, all the way until I got to high school. And that was when I was really needing that connection from my dad. Yeah. We fresh out of some like real bad depressive things, you know what I'm saying?
But you know, that's what we here for, man.
Yeah.
You know, so like
back in December, I actually did make the decision. I was hesitant for quite some time, made the decision to go ahead and try some medical correction for some of the anxiety and depression that I was getting. I was in a horrible pattern of just like, all right, we're doing good, but you know the other shoe about to drop. You know it's finna drop. So I wasn't celebrating successes, and I was trumping up defeats. So it was really, 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 really bad. And depression is one of the, I really wouldn't wish that on anybody, because when it's bad, you're literally fighting yourself in your head all day long, and then mad at people for trying to help you with that, because it's up here. You know what I'm saying? It's I'm still in the point of recovering from my depression, where I'm trying not to feel guilty for being depressed. Like your depression blocked you. If you wasn't so depressed, you would have XYZ, blah 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 blah. So when
as far as accomplishments,
I depression, and I it's so overlooked in Black men because of the role that we are societally expected to take on, or the position, the demeanor that we are expected to have. Because of that, it goes overlooked until, he's shot somebody up in the hospital. We probably should you probably should have got that man some help a while back. You know.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, no, depression is crazy, and I feel like we were taught as a people to, this our business. It stays in our house. Shelve it. Yeah, like you figure it out. We strong.
Under the rug. You're supposed to figure it out.
And I know it's this is a very multifaceted topic right here. So it's it's very near and dear to my heart, particularly in this point in my life. But the biggest thing I would say, traumatic wise, though, that I dealt with, though, would have to be my parents' divorce.
You said that you were gonna go back into seeking therapy. Right? All right, good job, man. I really hope you stay true to your word on that. Jay, you wanna add to it, Jay?
I just have a follow-up question for you from a learning perspective. And you can only speak to your personal experiences. When you enter that state of depression where it's a cycle of things, like you said, you were caught in a cycle.
Right.
Was it a buildup of things, or did one event or one set of events within the time period trigger it?
It kind of both. It was a buildup of things, as far as there were unresolved tensions that I had with my surroundings, that I didn't know were tension points. For instance, like just some of the ways that it was literally just me and my mom. Like just me, my mom, my auntie. I would be with my mom for 8-9 hours out the day. Like we was having our own. Looking back at it now, you know what I'm saying? She was operating from a deficit. So I kind of got to bruh. My bad, bro. It took a minute to come up out of there. My mom, 2016, I was really struggling my junior year in high school, and I was very clear I did not want to go to college at that time. Like I need a break. It's too much going on up here. I'm not really able to show up how I feel like I need to show up.
Right.
And it was no, you're a brilliant black boy. You're not finna be no nigga on the street. You're not finna. I'm like, I know that, Mom. I'm not. Yeah. I know I'm not finna be no nigga. I just want a gap year. That's it. And me and my mom ended up falling out. I got depressed 2016, ended up going to Kennesaw State University for 2 months. And one of my professors ended up calling home because I just didn't leave my room I was just in there. It's like I wake up, it's late for class. It was like, dang, if you're not going, Child Day Night's one of my favorite movies. If you ain't first, you're last. I used to like really.
I think that.
Yeah, and it's like it's not the case. So if I wasn't able to do it 100%, that's how I was taught. If you're not gonna do it, if you're not gonna give it your all, don't do it at all.
Yeah. So you just stayed in
the room, and then it's like, well, I'm already failing this. There ain't really no coming back. I ain't gonna get no A. So, and that turned into a whole thing. At the same time, I'm leaving to go to college. My mom was leaving to go to law school. To Illinois, and then so I had this unresolved beef with her. Like you the reason I'm going to school right now, and you leaving. You're not even gonna be there to like. You not even gonna be there to help me move in. Not gonna help me pack like none of that. And then given how close we were, it really felt like a slap in the face. So
where was your dad at in the midst of all of this?
My dad was there. And that's some of the frustration that I had with my dad. But I'm working on shifting my perspective because he and my mom, they had things going on that I had no clue about until even more recently. I didn't even know that stuff was going on. Like it was, you are literally not allowed to be in a room with this person. So I'm perceiving different things as a kid.
Okay.
And it's like, why aren't you stepping in? Why aren't you doing this?
You're not all the way here.
Yeah, and it's so it was those things that I feel like I didn't know all of the details, but again, I've been conditioned and trained to show up in these more mature ways for my age, and then you'll give me how much money we making and how bad we finna be in the hole because you need my help trying to figure out how to get out of it, but. Other things were not. Other things was grown folks' business still.
In the sense of this is what was verbalized to you as far as you saying we was finna be in a hole, your mom saying these things to you? But
it wasn't even, and that's why I say I'm working on my perspective with it, because while the situation did traumatize me, it was not with malicious intent. So it was my mom, you sitting up here trying to get your son to and from school. You just venting in the car. Damn, my car on E. I really don't know. Once I get you dropped off, I don't know how I'm getting back home. Like, that's the kind of stuff that's on your mind. So I'm like, well, you can just stop at the gas station. At least if somebody call you and give you some money, you can stop at the gas station. I'll just walk to school the rest of the way. So that's the first thing on my mind. That's how we get, you know what I'm saying? Like how we put gas in. But no shade to my mom. Once again, she provided a wonderful life for me. She did the best that she could. And going back to that therapy situation, I think that is prime example. I am prime example of why therapy is so crucial to the Black community. Had both of my parents had therapy, one, I don't feel like they would have gotten together, and if they did get together, they would have been different people.
Right.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
this is what's amazing about this right here, this moment, right? Because of the age differences, his trauma and depression stems from something totally different. Like, so for me, now listening to his story, it's like, I don't know what would have been worse, an absent father or a person that's present and absent. And it's and
present but perceived to be absent.
And that is because typically in my generation, there's not many people that could share your story. You understand what I'm saying? There's more people. So when we talk about into the next topic, talking about what plagues Black men in America, it's a wide gap now because now you're dealing with something completely different from what is, I guess, quote unquote norm. You understand what I'm saying? Like I would have loved to just see him. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? Now, hearing him, like, seeing him and not being able to, like, him not being able to step in, and like you said, being perceived as absent, I'm like, damn, I don't know if that's was a better solution. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, just to give my input on that, and from my personal experience, when I was a kid, my auntie used to tell us, as kids, we used to crack jokes like, your daddy this, your daddy that. Shut up, ain't none of y'all daddy shit. So that's a lot of hypnosis that mothers that's put on their children
early on.
Yeah, so you have this perspective because
my mom never did that.
Because guess what? At the end of the day, a child is going to protect their mother, whether they're wrong or right. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. A child, if the dad's there, he's going to protect the dad, whether he's wrong or right. Mm-hmm. But based on what he said, we drop off the seed. Who is the seed with most of the time? Yeah. So who are they going to protect, even if dad sleep in the bed with this woman every night?
Absolutely.
His loyalty is going to lie to that woman. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of our perspective comes from the emotions of our mothers. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When it comes to our fathers, based on my experience, right? Mm-hmm. My mama didn't allow my father that killed my brother the opportunity to even be a father. I was a party baby, mm-hmm. right? A party baby is they fuck one time and boom, here he go, mm-hmm. right? She was 17, bro, in Job Corps. So mm-hmm. she didn't even give him the opportunity. So when he did get the opportunity, it was because I was curious, because I had a little brother that used to go with his biological father all the time. Mm-hmm. And guess who I was with? Mm-hmm. That woman that took that seed, mm-hmm. right? All the time. And once I got to a certain age, I'm like, look, I want to go with my daddy too. Because the man that raised us to this point of me questioning where my biological father was in prison. So the masculine man that I did have from the age of 4 up until that question mm-hmm. being erased was in prison. Mm-hmm. So now it's back with being with mama all the time, because the man that raised us, he was a street guy. So when my mama was at work working in the hospital, shit, we was at home with him. He was in the streets. He would mm-hmm. come get us from school. He would make sure we eat. He's mm-hmm. His job is literally outside of our door. So mm-hmm. how could he not be a damn dad? Right, you know what I'm saying? Even Absolutely. Though we weren't his children.
So Jay, PG this, point guard this, man, because, you know, we've gone through fatherhood, depression. Outside of those, what are some other things that you feel that plague us as black men here in America?
I'm gonna say what I got to say on that, because I never for real answer. It comes out of the depression thing, and it actually stems from, I think, something that Ethan was going to touch on. I'm gonna ask you a follow-up question. Mm. You say you're working on your perspective, and because this is part of my answer. You say you're working on your perspective. Do you support, or how do you support others around you when you have this enhanced perspective?
At this time in my life, the best thing that I'm doing to support others is learning to support and love myself. Mm. Once again, I was conditioned and I learned, and because I'm so intuitive, once again, I was able to see people as flawed human beings from a very, very young age. Mm-hmm. And so I naturally began to take on other people's emotions from very, very young. So
do me a favor, say that repeat that one more time if you can remember what you just said. Repeat that one more time.
What was the question?
You said about loving yourself.
Yeah.
But I would say this though.
I got it.
Yeah, that part.
So basically, I'm learning. The best thing I can do to support others at this time is learning to love and support myself.
Learn to love and support yourself. Okay.
So that ties into my answer, in the fact that I think the two things that are plaguing the black community, the black men, are outlets and resources. Mm-hmm. Although we strongly we strongly are proponents of professional counseling, and like you said, but we can't travel around with our therapist in our back pocket.
Right.
The two things, outlets and resources, they go together. So we have to engage in regular therapeutic activities to make sure to provide protection from those cycles that could lead us into depression. Frank asked the question, what was a traumatic or most traumatic event that led us into almost being depressed or depression that could have taken us there? For me, it doesn't even have to be the most traumatic thing or the most horrible thing. It could be timing of the most minor thing or a few minor things on top of each other. I've had deaths push me almost to discretion, but I've also had bills and money issues, which is major when you got 4 people on your push me there.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And like reoccurring was not like, I can't be. I'm talking about reoccurring. I can't seem to get out of this hole, and I'm having to make sure my woman lives a life that she deserves. I have to make sure that I can have the resources to support these kids' dreams, and you don't have time to keep pushing stuff off. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the things that broke me out of that were, one, I said relationships. My brother Frank here. Like him and one of my other friends, just being able to have that relationship where we can talk, right? Relationships have saved my life over and over. And it's not that you have to have a lot of them, but you got to have enough of the right ones.
Right. True.
But then in the midst of talking to him, we went to New York. And I got the chance. I went to go see my sister-in-law when I was up there. So I had took the train, so when I ended up taking the train out in Brooklyn and walking and whatnot, and just having the chance to just walk and spend a few hours. I went to see my sister. That's what it was. Went to see my sister and having that, and I just walked Fulton Avenue for like a few blocks. Stopped and had lunch by ourselves, brisk air, and getting away from all those things that kept calling my name and calling my attention. And to put it away. Not narrow problem was solved, but I had to step away from the problem. Right? But what allowed me to be away from the problem? Resources. I had the money, enough money to be there in that moment. What plagues us from getting therapy? Let's just talk about going to therapy. Sometimes it's hard for us to have to be able to go to therapy because we got to keep working.
Right.
A lot of parents aren't as involved. The difference between, my wife being a teacher, she's in some schools. The difference between the performance of children at one school and the other is not the intellect of the children. It's the involvement of the parents. But how much easier is it for you to be involved when one parent can be in school hours of the day or whenever they feel like it, can be present, but the other parent can't because they working. Like it's literally, do I go to school? Or do I provide? Do I make sure we have lights? You understand what I'm saying? And so I think we need to do all, which is a bigger issue, do all that we need to do to create more resources, but to create those outlets, not necessarily just, go to professional counseling, but have those things, have friends to talk to, have men's groups. You know what I mean? Like have outlets, because one of the things that is choking us is we don't have outlets. There are things that we want to say that we feel wronged for saying. There are perspectives there are things that we're going through that the minute we express that we're going through, sometimes we have to contend with our women say, what do you think I'm going through? Blah, blah, blah. And as the peacemaker and as the provider and everything, you just shut down and say, you know what? I'm gonna help you with how you feeling. Yeah. I'm gonna not matter for a minute because what you're going through just kind of took center stage.
But I think with that last statement you just made, that comes with compassion. For somebody to ultimately do that, they ultimately have compassion and empathize with whatever you're going through.
And just to hone in on what everybody's saying, right? If we had to give a somewhat of a short answer to what plagues the black man in America today, that is one thing that you kept preaching, and I've definitely come around to where you are picking up what you're putting down, is that perspective. You understand what I'm saying? we have to, what's the word, a monolith?
Anomaly?
No, we're not, black men are not a monolith?
Anomaly.
Oh.
Right, now, okay, so.
No, I know what you're saying.
No, not anomaly.
Monolith.
A monolith. There you go.
Heard.
Monolith.
Sorry. We're not, we don't have to all
lead the top
think
off of that,
alike. You understand what I'm saying? We don't all have to think alike.
Right.
We don't all have to be the same. You understand what I'm saying? And I believe that's definitely one issue that plagues us, because we always say, like, if it ain't this way, then, you know what I'm saying? Like, then your way is.
I think
wrong.
what plague us is institutions that are not set up for us.
Facts.
Because institutions create ways of life.
Okay.
Right? Ways of life becomes your individual perception of things.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it goes back to the institutions.
Mm-hmm.
This, as long as black men is under this system, it's never going to change. They're just going to reinvent the wheel unless we destroy the system or we vertically integrate the system with people that have integrity. Vertical integration is to own something from every level of the game. Okay, I own the farm, I own the cows, I own the trucks, I own the grocery stores, right? So until we get to that point, nothing is going to change. They're going to only reinvent the wheel.
It's a resource issue.
That's it.
Still, yeah.
It's emotional immaturity and, once again, the perspective. But I kind of feel like they play into one another. Even going back, I feel like they're all at the basis, the fundamentals of all of that. If you're gonna try to extend help to somebody, or even try to present your perspective to somebody, you first have to understand their perspective to know how to approach them. Or you have to listen to them. You have to receive it. You know what I'm saying? But in order to receive somebody's perspective, even as their perspective could be the most triggering thing. At this job that I worked at a long time ago, had this racist white manager. And I would because of where I was emotionally, I would allow his behavior to frustrate me to the point that now I'm acting an ass at work. So regardless if somebody's right, regardless if somebody's wrong, you got to be able to check yourself. You got to be able to be in tune with your emotions to be able to say, okay, now I'm going to express this. Yeah, I know you matter, but I matter as well. How are we going to go about this, as opposed to just, okay, I'm going to sit by and let you have it. No, I think a lot of times we as black men, we don't do that ebb and flow that well. It's either we is or we ain't. Either I'm chilling or I'm gonna knock your shit off.
It's a plethora of things that can plague us. So, we could all be correct in our stance. One thing that Jay said, and is the unwillingness or the fear of stepping out into out of your box, out of your shell, and creating new friendships, relationships, so on and so forth. I saw this TikTok a while ago that said the gentleman was saying, shout out to your day twos. Always shout out your day twos, right? And it was ill because, he's absolutely right. Your day one, it's a person that you grew up with. You didn't choose that person.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? You just knew them from childhood. Right. And sometimes people just stay around in your life a little bit too long only because you knew them for so long. You understand what I'm saying? However, your day two is the person that you met in your mature stage. You literally chose that friend. You literally chose that connection, and genuinely, like an agape love. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like you love that person for who they are, because you are a representation of each other in this life that we currently live, not just a childhood friend.
Right.
So your day twos are just as important as your day ones. You know what I'm saying? So and Jay, he speaks on being like an introvert at times. I feel that's a lot of black men. But if we come around to building these relationships, building these bonds, having these discussions. And
knowing it's okay to have these discussions.
Yes.
But I think we have to be taken out of our daily activities to even be open to this. Right. So that in itself can be challenging, right? Mm-hmm. For one, I have to be taken out of my daily activity for what I'm used to doing daily. And then two, what if what you want to conversate or talk about goes against my belief? And it's not that I don't empathize or have compassion for what you're going through, but what you're going through and what you're trying to talk to me about goes against what I believe. Mm-hmm. So that's where the black men have the differences, right? Because everybody believes something different. Everybody's perspective is something different, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's the differences of the beliefs that may cause me not to listen to you.
So from your current center, and this is a question for everybody, with everything we talked about, from your current center, your belief system, where you are, your reality, how can the people around you and the people in your life best support you? Those that are in the position to support you.
Me, I mean, I got a partner that asks me that all the time, and 95% of the time when she asks me that, I don't have a defiant answer. But the 5% of the time, the other 5% of the time when she asks me that, I have an answer. Mm-hmm. And that 5% of the time when she do ask, that's where I really need her the most, because that's where I'm weak at or I lack understanding. Mm-hmm. The other 95% of the time, for the most part, I got it under control. Mm-hmm. That's why I don't know how to tell her how to support or what she can do, because I got it. It's just the other 5% where the lack is. Mm-hmm.
Just know that I need you there.
Exactly.
For that 5%, whenever
chill
that
out.
is.
I got this. I'm good right now.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know when it is. I don't know what it is, but when I do,
I got you. I'm gonna let you know.
I'll let you know.
But as going back to what you said, the black man being the foundation, that can leave everything that's sitting on top of you kind of swaying with the wind.
Yeah, right.
You see what I'm saying?
That's major. Yeah.
They kind of leave everything else swaying with the wind. Mm-hmm.
You know? How can people around you best support you?
I actually am very blessed to be able to say I have an amazing support system. So my support system is A1 in what they do. Right now, like I said earlier in this season of my life, it's about how do I support myself? How do I show up for myself? Because with my support system being so strong, I oftentimes find myself taking their word for what I'm supposed to do or what I'm supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And then when I actually do, like, this ain't working for me, but that's what I'm told I'm supposed to be. So, so we working on it.
But you know what? That goes back to, if y'all remember when we was kids, your friends would juice you up to do something stupid. And then when you do it and you get in your ass, well, why you do that? You dumb. It's like, man, I did. Y'all told me to do it. It was 3 of y'all telling me to do it. So we have to have a certain discernment to know the feedback and the advice that we get from people who opinions that we feel validate us. Mm-hmm. We have to be careful of that, because somebody can be giving you an opinion from fear. They can be giving you an opinion from naivety, right? However, we need to have the proper discernment to know where this is coming from.
So, just to basically bring this entire conversation, this deep, in-depth, brilliant conversation to a close. Again, the name of this segment is Go Off King, because we've given each other a chance to speak our piece and really give ourselves a chance to get whatever it is that's weighing us down off our chest. If there's one final thing, I'm going to start with you, Joseph. One final thing that you just would like to release, get off your chest, and, what would kind of like your purpose of this evening, what would that be?
If I could get one thing off my chest, I would say, man, go fight, win. Fight mode, never flight mode.
Say that again.
Go fight, win. Fight mode, never flight mode. Mm-hmm.
And for people that that's not picking up what you're putting down, right? Explain that.
Well, it's self-explanatory. Go. If God wake you up, get your ass up and go.
Mm-hmm.
If you need to go to work, you got to fight through the traffic to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You might have to fight and deal with your stubborn ass boss or your stubborn ass clients if you self-employed. But the ultimate win is the goal of paying your bills, providing a life for you and your family. That's the go fight win. The fight mode, never flight mode is we fight. Right? Now when a boxer take a break, he's not running. He's just resting. So he's not flighting. But when that bell ring again, he's back fighting. Right? So a lot of times as men, sometimes to those we're in this fight with, it may look like we're flighting, but we're not. We're just taking that break like a boxer. Then we're coming back to the fight. So it's fight mode, never flight mode.
Like that. Fight mode, never flight mode. My man. Ethan, come on, man. What you gotta get off your chest, bro? Because you said a handful, I'm gonna be honest with you. So there's something in there that I know.
I'm really frustrated by the disconnect. Frustrated by the disconnect in the Black community, period. And I guess what I hoped to gain from this situation was just to get one step closer to a solution, how to get everybody on the same page with all of the different perspectives and different traumas and triggers that everybody has. Like, where is the common ground? So I think we have to revisit the idea of not redefine, but define what manhood is from a healthy state of mind. If that makes sense. Like, yeah. So I think that's kind of the tip of the iceberg of what I'm trying to say.
Gotcha.
That's a hard one. Now, say
Define what
that's a hard one
manhood
because
is.
we in a world now inside the Black community and outside where manhood has taken on so many different meanings.
So many.
And I'm not saying I agree with the fact that it does, but it's hard to define because now everybody. So what you have to do is when common ground first operates under the same under the belief that everybody's under the same umbrella of belief.
But I think for the Black man and the white man, for the white man, this is just my point of view. Manhood, we know this is just my point of view. Manhood is control, power, and corporations, right? Ain't no that's it. That's what manhood is. It's only a question when it comes to us what manhood is, because we have other people that are not Black men. It can be a Black woman defining what manhood is. It can be a Hispanic man. It can be an Asian man or a white man defining what manhood is for a Black man. We have to define what manhood is for Black men.
That's what he's saying.
You see what I'm saying?
Honestly, bro, I think the common ground, and it comes back to the title of the podcast, is truth. At what point are we going to exist in a space where you can live whatever your truth is, you can live and all the way around the room without it? You living your truth don't stop me living mine.
Clashing.
And vice versa. Even if it's completely opposite. Wow. At no point should you stop living your truth because I'm living mine.
Yeah.
I think that still comes with relationship, because if I have a relationship, it's hard for me to oppose you.
Right.
That was like one of the three different definitions of what makes you. That was one of like the three different definitions of what makes Jesus the mediator among all men. Totally apart from what he was preaching, he was able to relate to all men, and he was the center point for all men's relations. You know what I'm saying? So that's why relationship is key, because the relationship. So now, because it's easier for me to be like, oh, I don't fool with Ethan or see Ethan or Joseph or whoever as an opposing force and this is my answer. By the way, it's easier for me to see you as an opposing force when I don't have any connection to you.
Right.
That connection irons out so many of what you're saying. With that true connection. So we got to speak. We have to hear. We have to learn. We have to, you said it earlier, we have to be connected as humans, right? When I recognize you as another human with the same, at the end of the day, strip me naked, we all have the same basic needs, wants, and fears, right? And if I can see that in you, now it's harder for me to oppose you. And then now it's a lot easier to understand our common truth. And then our goal is the truth, not just a truth, but the truth.
We got to work towards making that like an active process, though.
But it's always going to be a conflict because of the beliefs.
Not necessarily. It don't have to be. I really don't feel like it have to be. Like, it's a, going back to perspective, I was talking to my youth pastor recently about this. Say we looking at each other, right? We looking at each other. He say, raise the hand on this side of the room, right? Say, raise your hand on this side of the room. I'm going to raise my right hand. You going to raise your left hand. When he asked me, hey, what happened? What y'all did in the room? Man, we was blah, 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 blah. Bro told me to raise my right hand. When you tell it, you're going to say blah, 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 blah. Bro told me to raise my left hand. Automatically, hold on, somebody lying. It don't necessarily have to mean somebody lying. It's just a different... Me raising my right hand does not mean I have to be upset with him raising the fact that he told or you told your story about yours raising the left hand. You get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like
all the time,
we have to figure out, once again, it's tying back into the emotional stuff, the perspective stuff. You got to figure out where to put your frustrations long enough to make that connection with somebody. You know what I'm saying? If connection is what's going to make it less likely for you to go off on somebody or make it more realistic to identify with whatever it is they got going on, we have to treat even the smallest moment of connection, we got to treat all of that with care. Mm-hmm. If I'm at Starbucks in the line, wherever you at, the liquor store, that's a potential point of connection. You see what I'm saying? It's like, man, this nigga, why he mugging me like that? If I take that personally, bro, I could miss out on the word that God had for me that day.
That's right.
This is true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm
so gentlemen, we call it, you know what? This is too deep of a convo to pack into an hour.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? This is years, obviously generations of issues that we've dealt with personally, traditionally, as a community. All right. But unfortunately, we do have to come to a close, and I want everybody to know, do you have any social media handles where people can follow you and connect with you?
Yeah, they can find me on my personal. I'm a barber by trade. Okay. Stone the Barber _ or on my nonprofit at Brothers of Valor ATL _
Brothers of Valor _ATL. That's what handle was that? That's your IG?
Yeah, IG. I'm sorry.
And then the first one was IG as well. That's personal.
Yes, that's his IG as well. And
say the personal
same
one.
thing. Excuse me.
Say your personal IG.
Stone the Barber.
Stone the Barber.
Yeah.
Okay.
DA Barber.
Okay. Stone the Barber
_ and it's the same thing on Facebook.
Got you. Yeah. All right. And where's your shop located? Downtown Atlanta.
There you go. Downtown Atlanta. Okay. Ethan.
Oh no, I stay off social media.
Stay off social media.
Yeah. That's from the depression. In the depression, I decided I found myself doing too much comparison.
Okay.
I don't need to be in everybody else's life. Like, I don't even know what the hell I got going on. What I look like. Oh, they're so happy.
But you accept it. You accept all praise.
Yeah. Oh yeah. First of all, giving glory to God, who is the head of my life.
Facts. Yeah. There you go. And of course, us. You can follow us at Truth _no_chaser on Instagram. You can also follow us and keep up with what's going on with us at thetruthnotchaser.com. Is there anything you want to?
No, just thanking everybody for joining this and watching, just having this conversation. This is different from our normal show format. Where we kind of do more of an interview style, or a teachable presentation, in the likeness of the of the title, Go Off King. That's just what we did. So we may not have hung on something too long, may have went left or right, but this is what it's like when our men organically speak, which doesn't happen enough, but this is what it's like. And this is the beauty of it. We're encouraging it more, but we're also encouraging that the topic of the conversation be some of the things that we talked about. And it's not even about agreements. It's just about knowing that we can talk to each other about these things. We can hear one another. We can be a safe space for one another.
That part.
So the visual version of this podcast, YouTube.com/The Truth No Chaser. Again, YouTube.com/The Truth No Chaser. And again, we thank everybody for joining us. And
keep living in your truth.
Man.
Black people.
Fight mode, never flight mode, man.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Until next time, y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Empty glass. I don't know if that's. I think that's bad luck.
Ain't nothing to fill that cup up, brother. Ain't nothing to fill that cup up.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing.